So, hello weary gamers and welcome back to my channel. So as you see sitting behind me, that's Xbox and PlayStation. The contentious consoles wars. The dumbest thing that's ever existed in the bane of humanity ever. Yes, console wars are stupid and they may finally be over. Now that sounds very negative and it sounds pessimistic and it sounds doomsday-ish, but it's actually possibly the best thing for gamers. And I'm going to explain to all of you Xbox fanboys and all of you PlayStation ponies out there exactly why. Exclusivity was always stupid. Exclusivity and the consoles created a dearth of redundancy for developers, driving up costs, driving up stress, driving up crunch. It was the dumbest thing to ever exist. Now, yes, I do agree. We need a middle market for gaming. Price-wise, graphics cards are ridiculous, but that's part of the logic behind Microsoft's move, and I'm going to explain to you why. Sony's been experimenting with moving some of their titles to PC, only they wait a couple years. Sony has made a lot of money doing this. So Xbox is looking at this. Xbox spent billions. I'm not talking millions, I'm talking billions of dollars for studios. And as the dust has settled, and as they've actually gone in and actually seen the working mechanisms of a lot of these studios, and they're already starting to see the numerous delays of tentpole titles that they were expecting to come out this year, and inevitably they're starting to look at these studios and go, well, we bought studios that were in the process of making games that are not going to be out for this generation. I hate to tell you guys, but Xbox may have made a much more risky move than anybody realized. Blizzard was in bad shape. They had to cancel the survival game. Activision had one of the worst years for COD ever in terms of quality. Yeah, people bought it nonstop, but still, you're still looking at a diminishing return year after year. Activision Blizzard is not in great shape, no matter what anybody tells you. Then you have the game that makes Senua's Sacrifice. The second one is going to be an 8-hour long game. This was a tentpole title reason to buy a studio? And Ninja Theory hasn't made much else. At least nothing of note. So you got to look at the business decisions that Microsoft were making, and you have to scratch your head a little bit. Are these IPs worth the money? And I think they're starting to sit there after this dust has settled, after Phil Spencer has been done jerking off all over gamers. And the execs are sitting here going, wait, we spent hundreds of billions of dollars on stuff that isn't going to turn us a profit right away. It may actually, in the end run, cost us money. Couple this with a declining sale base for Xbox consoles, and you have a recipe for financial disaster. Something on the scale of Embracer Group. For people who don't know, Embracer Group went around buying up a number of small studios like THQ Nordic, and Eidos Montreal, the famed developers of Deus Ex. And they had this development deal with an investment company from Saudi Arabia for $1 billion, which fell through. Literally overnight, all of Embracer Group's high in the sky financial ideas for the studios that they bought went up in smoke. And it has been a non-stop cascade of layoffs, restructuring, and threats of studio sales, and canceled games. I don't think we want to see this happen to Microsoft. So Microsoft is taking a hard look at the market, and they're going, well, it doesn't make sense to not have our games on PlayStation. It's money in the bag that's just sitting, hiding on another console, and who cares what sort of percentage PlayStation takes, even if it's 15%. Starfield sold, what, 12 million copies just on Steam alone? Couple that with Xbox's Game Pass subscription service that could go on to PlayStation. They already have EA Play and their own version of Game Pass, which isn't that great. Imagine if Microsoft and Sony worked out a deal to put Microsoft games on PlayStation Plus. there's many things here that could go incredibly well. And the other thing that we need to start thinking about here is and this is something that gamers kind of realized with the launch of the 40 Super graphics cards this year. Gamers are being hedged out of the graphics card market. And unfortunately, what we're going to be pushed towards is an elimination of PCs, an elimination of consoles, and a strict push towards cloud gaming. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, wait a minute, hold on here. Bandwidth is a real problem in a lot of countries. Infrastructure is a problem in the United States for a lot of us. But you have Samsung Gaming on their TVs, which I don't know if any of you have tried it. I went to my friend's house, and they had Game Pass loaded on the Samsung TV. They had a controller hooked up to the TV, and they were playing games on the cloud on infrastructure that was built around a current gen AMD processor and an Intel, is it 3060 Ti? Streaming over the internet on their TV. No computer, no console, only the Game Pass subscription and the cost of the TV that they bought 2 years ago. Game Pass is what, $20 for the non-premium tier? Their TV is paid for already, and their internet costs them maybe about $70 a month. And they were playing the entire Microsoft library of games. Then you have Microsoft's other deal with GeForce Now, the cloud gaming service, which again, I don't know if many people have tried it. It's freaking amazing. You can literally run on their top tier service games on 30, 90, and 40 series cards. It's insane how far cloud gaming has gotten. And if countries get their shit together and they realize how important internet infrastructure is in the next decade, we could be seeing the death of consoles and gaming computers completely. Now, I know this sounds really ridiculous, but you got to think what these companies are thinking about. They want to eliminate the cost overhead of physical copies of discs, hence the push to digital. They understand that the costs of graphics cards, be them AMD or NVIDIA, are just going to keep going up, especially with the AI market exploding. The cost of silicon is going to spike, and a lot of companies are going to be scapping up processors, and the market for PCs is going to disappear or become so ridiculously expensive that it's going to be going back to a niche hobby. Horrible as that sounds. So maybe Microsoft is making the right deal. And maybe Sony's going to be looking at this too and going, hey, it was nice that we kind of won the console wars 2 years in a row, but the cost and production issues with making a console, designing a console, marketing a console, hoping that your production rates match your sales, that you don't have to end up discounting and losing money, becomes a risk every year. So why bother incurring all of these costs? Plus, what else can you do? Eliminate marketing departments. You don't need an Xbox or PlayStation brand. There is no forward-facing brand anymore. Your Game Pass now. Your PlayStation Plus. Your GeForce Now. Your NVIDIA Cloud. It makes a lot of sense from a money perspective, and gamers do not want to hear this. So how about this? The positive is you can play games anywhere, any console, any platform, any streaming service. Imagine that. Your games anywhere you want them at any time. Does that sound so bad to you? Do you really need to have that level of brand loyalty that you would rather see these companies die or struggle or have to lay off thousands of people? Because let's be honest here, Microsoft is not known for running expensive internal structures in their company. They like to run lean, just like Amazon, just like Google, they run lean. They've bought up, I think it's 12 studios? In the billions of dollars. If they don't see a return within a year, what's going to happen? You're going to see Electronic Arts all over again. They're going to consolidate these studios, poach some talent, lay off or terminate the rest, eliminate the corporate infrastructure, absorb these companies, and turn them into Microsoft Studios. Being worse for developers, but better for them. Do you want to see that? As a gamer, do you want to see some of the most talented people in the industry just go bye and maybe never come back? Because one of the most damning things about COVID that nobody in the gaming industry wants to admit was that during COVID, a significant amount of talent left the gaming industry forever, never to return, not to open independent studios, not to do anything of the sort. So remember this. The next time that you want to be a Sony pony or an Xbox fanboy, this might be for the best. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good one.